Hello everyone, and welcome back to the second video of Civil 3D for Land Surveyors. In this video, we'll be covering how to draft our existing parcel data, how to draft our existing additions, and how to add survey points into Civil 3D. This video will be split into 3 parts. For this video, part 3, we'll be finishing all the drafting for our existing conditions. Part 3 continues where part 2 left off. Okay, so I got all my line work all joined up. For the most part, I'm not joining this guy here because this is edge of asphalt. But for the most part, every last one of these lines is joined together to form their own lines. So now I'm going to start offsetting everything. So this becomes the fun part of trying to get everything more uniform. So we're going to offset by typing OFF. We want a distance of 1/2 foot, because from your TBC to the face of curve is 1/2 foot. So I'm going to offset this guy 1.5 feet. Offset this 0.5. Bam. Bam. Cool. And I'm going to offset this 1.5 feet. 1.5. Alright, now that I have these offset, I need to double check through my points here real quick. So I think there might be a waterway through here. And let's find out. Geolocation, let's turn this on real quick. Yeah, so this dude so there's a waterway through this guy, which is just where your storm water is directed. Waterway right through here. Goes clear into this. Just zoom out. Let's see what else is going on here. Check something real quick. This is almost 2 feet. Yeah, so on a public road, this might be like a 2.5 foot curb and gutter, and then on a private road, it's just 2 foot. That's what it's looking like. So what I would do for this real quick, I would offset this guy 2 feet from the curb face. Let's just break some lines here. The break command allows you to break your lines. It's in the name. You just type break, and then you can just divide these and then do what you want with them from here. So I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna delete this. I need these to follow the LOC. So for the most part, you can just make assumptions with your curb and gutter if you know the dimensioning for them. Otherwise, the surveyor should get you the lip of curve, and then you just match these endpoints to it, and this will help us with our surface later down the line. Otherwise, you just offset stuff and just call it good. But yeah, I would, if you have lip of curve points already provided by the surveyor, I would just use these. And like, if they fall pretty close, I wouldn't even bother messing with it. So like this guy, that's pretty close, but we'll try to get exact. But anyways, we want to follow this lip of curve as best as possible. So what's happening here is it goes from 2-foot curb, 2.5-foot curb. So let's end that guy right there. So like this dude connects to here, like this, right into there. I'm going to remove that, put that guy here, and then these we can put together like this. And wherever these end up, you type EX for extend. And I'm just going to extend these lines. The extend command just extends the lines till it hits another line. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just having them go and reach each other out here. Then I'm going to type TR for trim, and then trim that dude. And that's how this waterway should look. It should come together here. And then same for up here. Yet again, I'm going to break this line here. Right there. Get rid of that. I'm going to offset this 2 feet again for this side. Toss that out there. I'm going to hit escape. Whoops, actually no. Do I have? No, it's a white line. Okay. I'm going to type break again. I don't have survey points up that way, so we're just going to extend it. Call it good on that. So that guy goes up to there. And then we can just type break once again. Just pick anywhere on the line. Go to your snap, which is there. I'm going to toss that. Type extend. That guy to that guy. TR for trim. And there we go. And that's how your waterway comes together and ends up looking. But I got some other stuff down here as well we need to fix up. This is fairly easy. So what happens, this is a drive approach, and like this is still like lip of curve to here. So what I would do is just connect to here, to there. What is this guy doing? Edge of concrete. To here. All the way to here. Okay. Cool. Type break. I'm going to break at this LOC here. Snap to it. Come all the way up here. Break this guy. Break it to there. Snap it there. And that's how far out that goes. This will all be like concrete inside of here. The only thing I just realized I messed up here is these aren't sharp bends. This should like curve in. Or at least it should. Actually, no, it probably does. Never mind. I was gonna say I'm gonna have to break these lines and like have them curve better, but no, I'm pretty sure this is just straight, just angles into here. No, that's wrong. Okay, so we are gonna do this. So for this guy, this offset doesn't matter super a lot. So I'm just gonna get rid of this. Go here, hover over this, remove vertex, go back over here, convert to arc, and snap it right to that guy. And then same down here, hover over this guy, remove vertex, hover over it again, convert to curve, snap it to that guy. And then just offset this 1/2 foot again. Cool. And there we go, our carbon gutter is done. Except for this stuff over here, which I'm gonna pull up my properties, because yet again these won't join because they're on different layers. Not layers, but elevations. So grab this, go to elevations. I'm just gonna copy this guy, click this one, click this one, and then go here. We'll just paste it. Select back over here, type join, and there we go. Now this is joined together. Okay, the same thing for up here. I want this all one singular line. This elevation, we'll just copy it, click that guy, and click this, and click this guy. Type join. Oh, whoops, I don't think nope. I forgot to hit paste on this real quick. Let's go here. I forgot to give these all the same elevation. Join this together. Perfect. Do the same down here. Apparently I didn't join that together. Paste that. Join. Cool. Now it's all one uniform line. Perfect. Okay, now I want to join these building lines together. Just gonna copy this guy and paste it to these ones. Join them together. Oh, I did it again. I keep doing that. Getting ahead of myself. Oh, real quick, since I did it real fast there. In Civil 3D, there's different ways to select a group of objects. So if you just click once, you get this box. And the green one just means, like, if you have an object within this green box, it'll select everything relating to do with that object in there, or completely just grab the object that's in the green box. So right now, these are my X references for my survey points. So I clicked over it with the green box, it'll select everything. If I go the other direction where I get the blue box, it doesn't work at all because it has to be its own entity or object or so on. So, like, for example, if I make a line, I do something like this. If I select with the green box, it'll select the entire object. You don't need to, like, highlight the whole object. So it just grabs it. Now if I do the blue box, this guy won't select everything unless I am selecting the entirety of the object. So it comes really in handy when you're trying to grab certain things. Like, if I want this line, I can just do a mass selection over top it, and it'll grab that line. If I'm looking for specific things, like if I wanted all these guys here, like let's say I wanted only 2 of these lines, I just make this box big enough to hit the 2. If I want all of them, then I can just use the green box on that. But I can also use the blue box just to select just purely these objects that are here, these single entities that are together. But yeah, that's a quick lesson on that. Knowing the difference between the two makes life pretty easy. Okay. All right. So now that we have all this line work done, except for down here, let's fix this real quick. So what I would do, I'm just going to connect over to here like this. Extend this guy up there. Call that good. I think I stated last time that I know there's sidewalk in front of this, so I'm just going to offset. So I'm creating a line. Then I'm going to offset that distance, which is, let's see here. How far is this? .74. I'm just going to offset this guy. 2.74. Cool. Alright, I'm going to start hatching my objects here. So I want to do concrete for all my curb and gutter, and then asphalt hatching for the road. So, do we have points? I need to draw stuff on this side as well. Anyways. So, very simple thing about hatching. This will be a quick lesson that we'll teach you hatching real fast. Hatching's not difficult, it's just kind of a pain. Which sounds very contradictory, but it's not difficult. It has its own little quirks and tricks. So, since this object is all connected together and it's closed, this should hatch no problem. But if it's open, it won't hatch at all. So if I type hatch, right now it is set to pick points. There's a difference. Pick points just allows you to pick inside of an object, while select makes it so you have to select a closed object and it'll hatch within that closed object. But if you do pick points, it should just create a hatch for you inside of here, which it did. So this is what happens. Like, it'll just hatch this. This is our building. If we got rid of this real quick, and let's say this wasn't all the way closed. So if I didn't notice there was a little gap there, and I typed hatch, I select in here, it just won't do it. It even says a closed boundary cannot be determined. So it just won't work on if it's not closed or not. And I think the elevations don't matter as long as it can sense that it's a closed object. It should hatch just fine. But yeah, hatching's very easy. It's just sometimes if you ever have a problem where you're like, I don't know why it's not hatching, just know that that's probably the issue, is because your object isn't closed. And also, for bigger objects that you're trying to hatch, like I'm going to do a hatch for the concrete for all of this. Sometimes if you're like zoomed in this far and you try to hatch it, it doesn't know what you're talking about. But if you have the entirety of this guy, I'm going to select this to make it easier to see. If you had the entirety minus this up here, don't worry about that. If you have the entirety of the thing that you're trying to hatch within your view, it should hatch all of it. But sometimes when you're zoomed in, it doesn't know what you're talking about, so you have to zoom out to get a bigger picture of the thing that you're trying to fill a hatch into. But yeah, so for this guy, Here's just some standard drafting procedures for you. So I'm going to create lines here for my boundary for my hatch, and also for the outside extents of where I'm going to be putting everything, if that makes sense. So if you don't want to show the rest of like a road or an area, or saying something continues, you add like a fracture line, a break line, or whatever you want to call it, just signifying that, hey, this road continues on, we just didn't want to draft the rest of it. So that's just done by doing some squiggles in here. I always do these with polylines so I can make a more of a uniform shape and also make it look better. You can use the spline tools, which is you just type spline, and this guy allows you to just like pick a point, pick somewhere else. Whoa, we went out of bounds. Pick a point. I'm going to turn my snap off. That's not my snap. Turn my snap off. Come on, thing. Anyways, that's what the spline tool does. It'll just create a wacky line for you, but I don't like using it. It's unpredictable and I don't really like it that much. So I always just do this, which I just go follow where everything's going to be. Add a vertex. Convert to arc. Whoops. Convert to arc. Sometimes it does that where it thinks you're like trying to add a vertex, but we're not doing that. Actually, let's go like this. Make this one go in. But yeah, your little squiggles here at the end means, hey, this continues going. So I'm just going to add those in here. And I'm most likely going to change these to a layer. Either delete them or put them on a layer that is non-plottable, which meaning when you print this out, it'll show up at the end. But I'm making it so it won't show up at the end. So, but I'm most likely just going to delete them when I'm done. I don't like having lines that don't matter in my drawings. My viewport, when this is all said and done, shouldn't really include most of this. Where's parent intersection nearest? There we go. So what I'm going to do, my boundary, it's hard to see, but my boundary's here. So I'm just going to go straight here. I'm going to call it there. I don't want to show the rest of this information because one, they're probably not going to see it. It'll probably be a scale to like 1 to 20, 1 to 40 or something, and no one else is going to see this but me. So I don't care. We're going to end it right there. And what I'm trying to say by that, by the way, is when I hatch this, my hatch is going to end at these squiggles. There and there. Right into there. So I'm going to do my first asphalt hatch through here. So this could be done in multiple different ways. You, like, quite literally, you can do this however you want. First, if you have your X references will interrupt your hatch. So let's unload this. Also my survey point. We're going to unload this guy. So if I did this correctly, I'm zooming out yet again, so that way my hatch knows what I'm trying to hatch. So I'm going to go, if I hit right in here, perfect. The only problem, yeah, no, that's good. Ooh, I want to fix this. I'll fix that later. But anyways, since I created my boundary of where I wanted my hatch to go, this is all going to be my asphalt. And yeah, so that's all my asphalt hatch there. This bugs me. But anyways, I'll fix that later. I don't care. So next thing on here. Let's start. So I'm going to change my layers real quick. I'm going to start putting my TBC as the appropriate TBC layer. That way we can start seeing what's different. So for me, it's my survey layers. You'll have your own, so you do whatever you want, but find my TBC wherever it is. There it is. Cool, so my TBC appears green. Then my curb face, I'm going to start associating what's my curb face and what isn't. My curb face. And now I want the edge of asphalt, lip of curb, whatever you want to call it. I want to select this guy. Cool. So there's a reason why I'm doing this. I'm getting my layer set up so I can freeze certain ones to help my hatches come together better. And also, we're adding some color here so I can show you guys what means what. And it'll be a little bit easier on the eyes, hopefully. Oh, whoops. Come on. I'm trying to layer match this. So that way I don't have to go so far. Don't show me this again. That's irritating me. Okay. So if you have a hatch layer, just go to that. I have an asphalt hatch layer. Boom. There we go. Alright, so I changed these layers so we can freeze things. So if I were to hatch this curb and gutter with asphalt, not asphalt, but with concrete now, you'll see that it'll only select one side of it. And that's because I have two lines dividing what needs to be hatched. So it's created a closed object here between my curve face and my lip of curve, therefore it only fills into there. But if I take and go up here to my layer properties, there's this freeze command, you click that. I froze all my curve face, and if I type hatch, and now I select within here, there we go. My hatch is now hidden from the lip of curve to the top back of curve. And I'm going to do the same over here. So, yet again, I got to make sure these are closed off. So click here. I'm just creating points to create a closed object. Otherwise, this hatch will not work. This guy extends all the way over here, so I just got to double check that that's working. So when I type hatch, click in this, it might not like it, you know. Let's see here. That was a prime example of why it doesn't like. If I have all of this open like this, and now I try to select in here. Oh, come on. When you're doing large areas, it does not like to hatch. There we go. Cool, so now I've created my concrete hatch inside of this guy. So now, every hatch has its own legend and like hatch style that's going to be attached to it. So if you go up here, this is your different types of patterns that are going to appear within. You just go to concrete, or the one that looks vaguely close. Use this guy yet again. Let's hatch. Just change this hatch. But yeah, once you start hatching, like, you can really see your existing conditions come together. But when it's all just line work, it doesn't seem like a full image. There's my concrete hatch. So I cut this off here. I need to create a little boundary there. And if I type hatch, I click in here, it won't like that because it wants to see the entirety. Okay, so if you're having an issue where the hatch just doesn't want to work right now, it wants to see everything that I'm trying to hatch here, and it's saying that I have things that are not closed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab this guy, and I'm also going to grab these end pieces that I've created. Copy this. I'm just going to throw them out here. I'm going to type trim. Trim these. Boom. Boom. Oops. Delete that. Delete this. Okay. I'm going to select all of that guy. I'm going to go into his properties. I'm going to change this elevation to 0. Click enter. Type join. Cool, now I've created this into one solid object. And now, since it's one solid object, I can just type hatch. Click this guy out of the way. Go to select in my hatch options. And now I can just select this closed object. And there we go. It created a hatch within here. Now I can just take it, type M for move. I'm going to hit this. I'm going to hit this snap point here and just drag this guy over to here. take this, we'll layer match it to this guy over here. Take this, got to change its hatching style. Back to concrete, with it still selected now. I'm going to type layer match, and then match it to this dude. Let's toss this. Cool. Now, whoops. Now we have all of our hatches. I'm just going to grab this, select similar real quick. And we can see that we have all the concrete hatching done. Let's fix this one. I'm going to fix my layers for this building here. Here's the freeze. I'm going to unfreeze that CV curb face, so that'll show back up. Here's my building hatch. Actually, just gonna layer match this to this guy, and then fix this, because it'll be a little bit easier to find. My building. So this one is the same as my lip of curve. So I'm just going to match to that. There's sidewalk in front of this building, so I'm just going to do this. We're only going to go that far. Have as much of this within my viewport as possible. Hatch that. Layer match. So this guy over here. Click that. Change it back to concrete. I am going to join this and this together. See if they're at the same elevation. Perfect, they are. Just type join. Oh. Let's go. Yeah, that's fine. So this hatch is off a little bit. So yeah, if you ever have problems where your hatch isn't going where it needs to go, it should have endpoints and vertexes and so on, and you can just take these and move them and snap them to where you want them to go. So that's what I'm doing now. I keep doing this the hard way. I have like literally every single one of my layers is on here. So I have to go through a list. Normally for each one of these base files, I have them all separated out, and I don't have to sift through all this. I can just go to my existing conditions base, and it has all my layers related to that, but I have all this just located on one. So it has every last layer known to man, or at least known to me, on here. I'm gonna delete this, I don't need it. Alright, so with your hatching done, it's up to you. You can change these guys, these little squiggles. You can change them to a layer that doesn't print, or you can freeze them in your viewport, or you can do whatever you want with them. When I'm done with them, honestly, I select all of them since I have these on the 0 layer. You can see that it selected all these guys, and I toss them, I delete them. I don't need them anymore. So the last thing I need to do, there's a road here that I need to draw up. I forgot to draw it in, so now I gotta draw it now. Okay. So I started drawing stuff along here, and I got a little carried away. But yeah, let's see here. Let's fix something real quick. Anyways, so I drew in my lines for the paint striping as well. But one thing I noticed, so as I was doing this guy, so this isn't like a typical curb, this is just like a little barricade within like a landscape peninsula. So, like, this isn't your typical, like, curb and gutter. It's just straight, just the curb. So, this dude is just 10 inches thick. So, if you don't know, like, the decimal form, you can just do 10 and then divide it by 12 as you're doing your offset distance. Hit enter, and, like, it'll just figure out the math for you. But, yeah, so this dude, he's good now. This is, that's 10 inches there. But anyways. So now I got this side done. Now I'm going to put in... I'm going to do my... what is it? I'm going to put my hatching in now. So what I'm going to do... We're just going to go from here to here, and then I'm gonna go, we're gonna straight just beeline it up to there. We're making our little swirly fella here to signify that this continues. So like that. Like that. I'm gonna go down here. I'm going to go from this point down to this point. Convert to an arc. Alright, so this one's going to have a really hard time trying to hatch this, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this lip of curb, my swirly guy, and this curb face. Come back up here, select that there. I'm going to hit Control C for copy, Control V for paste, go over here. Select all of this, open up my properties, Find my elevation, click 0, just join it together. Type join. Hatch this guy. Click in there, it'll create a hatch. Select my hatch. M for move. Come on. Grab this. Right there. If you have problems where stuff is overlapping on each other, you click it, right click, display order, send it back. That is now sent to the back. Type layer match. Match that layer. I'm going to select all my magenta lines, get rid of them, and there we go. So yeah, it's a long process. You'll get there eventually. It is very, very tedious, but this is how you do this. This is how you do your hatching. This is how you do your existing conditions. It just takes a minute, but once you do it, it's not difficult. It just takes a while. But anyways, that's the end of this video. This is how you do your existing conditions. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. We'll be going over how to do your existing surface. So hope you enjoy. Hope you learned some stuff along the way, and I'll see you next time.